And we're back
Hello, everyone.
for the review of Terra Mystica plus Fire and Ice expansion plus the Merchants of the Seas expansion. We just finished a full playthrough.
Yes, it feels like a marathon.
Yes, and there are links down below for the first round and the overview of the game, plus a link for the rest of the playthrough. And I think I'll start with my review for starters. I usually go last, but yeah. So I like it. I mean, I think that for people who played a lot of Terra Mystica, you know, the extra factions are nice. Not that there's need for any extra factions, but I think maybe the most important part is the new maps that come with the new board.
It's the
new expansion.
It's the new map that is. If you
The
just
two-
buy the Fire and Ice expansion, you
It's
get
two maps.
You get two maps. One of them is the original one, but a bit more balanced, and a completely new one. And with the second expansion, you obviously get two maps that are all also centered around the water features.
Okay.
Carry on.
And yeah, so I really like the Merchants expansion. It added a lot of energy, dynamism. I don't know. It felt less dry, which was good. It also, like, it was themed. It added theme, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that yeah, it's a little bit sort of, you need to plan for when you want to trade in with whom, because there are opportunities to be gained from them. It's here. And I also like that it's sort of the same cost as the dwelling, and you don't have to think about it, and you can definitely expand to new territories pretty easily. Which I think, I haven't played a lot of Terra Mystica, which I think that in the base game you sort of need to work with your faction powers. So I think it also sort of maybe,
You mostly expand, unless you play with very specific factions. You mostly expand
By
through
bridges?
shipping.
oh, shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it builds on a core mechanic, which is good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but it's sort of maybe difficult to gain the shipping, and then
It's a difficult game.
no. It's costly, and it's just is. Versus here, you can do a lot of things with the shipping. So you do need to still increase that, but you get one free here.
You gain more out of it.
Yeah, you get more out of it, right? So it opens up that part of the game, which I really liked. In terms of like depth to complexity, I think it's okay. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward, I think, expansion. It didn't take a lot of time to explain it. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think that the sort of the heaviness of the game still stays with the base game, so it doesn't add a lot of heaviness to the game, which I think is a good design. I still think overall that I prefer Gaia Project, but I think that the fact that they added new favor tiles and maybe a little bit more of these, I don't know. It
helps.
Yeah, it helps. It makes it seem a little bit more unique.
It helps diversify what you can and can't do.
Yeah, so there's a feeling that with everything here, not every game will feel the same, as opposed to certainly base Terra Mystica, which I feel like it's just a fact. It's the same game, as opposed to, for example, Gaia Project, where you get like these are more variable in Gaia Project, and the technological tracks, which is my favorite part of Gaia Project, are more randomized there from game to game. So I still like Gaia Project more, but this is definitely a very nice experience overall, I think. So yeah, so if you like Gaia Project,
Then you've probably played Terra Mystica already.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I'm saying, I'm not talking about just Terra Mystica, right? I'm also talking about the expansion. So I would, I would try this out as well. I don't know if you need to have both. It feels different. It's just that here I still don't like the Colts track. They feel very
one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's just a race.
It's more than just a race because you have those, but it doesn't add much depth.
I think another maybe factor that I feel like I need to talk about, but we can't, is the two-player experience in Terra Mystica, which has always been less optimized for two players as opposed to Gaia Project, where the map changes. I think that maybe you could talk about
the two-player experience.
Yeah.
In one word, don't. And until someone rebalances it in a way that is enjoyable.
Even with the expansions?
With the expansions, I don't know, but
is there a much smaller map?
No, then don't.
No, maybe they ship it.
It's not a two-player game. It's an experience to be had in 3 or more players, preferably 4, where you really have to notice, like, to get a full experience of it. You really have to see what's going on and where can and can't you expand. I've never enjoyed playing it in less than 3 players. I tried on the app a lot, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. So to that, I can say that I think that it's sort of a missed opportunity to add 2 expansions and still not be able to open up the game to 2 players.
Yeah.
I think that's important these days to make games suitable for 2 players. And so that's a shame if they hadn't. I hope that they did, but somehow. But
I know the community is talking about options. I haven't read anything concrete.
Like minimizing the map somehow?
How would you make this 2-player friendly? Can you make it 2-player friendly without breaking the delicate balance? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I get it when it's my turn.
Okay. Yeah.
I think having changes for 2 players is very, very important, especially in these times when you can't invite people over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anywho, so I played the least of Terra Mystica, so I'm more representative of a player who's not experienced with the game. If you're trying to balance out the opinions, then they played lots. I played very, very little. I think that's my 3rd game.
Okay.
Of Terra Mystica. So first of all, this is a game that could really use a redesign graphically because it looks like Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And it's
Wait, did you just say something bad about Heroes of Might and Magic 3?
It looks old.
Yeah,
looks old.
You lost half your viewers right now.
Look at the gold, look at the brown. It's perfectly functional.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It is perfectly functional. Once you move away from the gaudiness and the gold trim lace thingy everywhere, then it does its job. So,
but does it need it?
No, but if they do that, that would be nice. I mean, look at Gaia Project. So much cleaner. So much prettier to look at. Anyway,
I
disagree.
Hardly disagree.
I disagree as well. It looks horrible. I think that I remember my disappointment looking at the first time at Gaia Project and thinking, like, hoping before I saw it that they actually made something prettier, and it's just the same. It's the same sort of very harsh, like, very heavy borders kind of thing.
Yano Tool, if you're watching,
yes,
contact
please.
them.
Please,
yeah, we'll gladly pay $200 for your version of this game,
for an O'Tooled version.
Yes.
Anyhow, jokes aside, the first time I played Terra Mystica, I was very disappointed because the map is huge and player interactions could go in your favor and could go not in your favor, and that's extremely detrimental of what actually happens.
We played 4 or 5 players.
In the game. I think
the first time we played 5.
5.
Oh God, why did we do that to ourselves?
I don't know.
Because we had no idea what we were getting into.
That's true.
Anyhow, putting that aside, I felt the game was way too dry, and I felt like a lot of the mechanics were close to pointless, especially the one with the shipping.
Oh, this time?
The first time I played it. We're still in the first time I played it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now with this expansion, I think that the addition of trading makes shipping actually useful for something. It gives it 2 different purposes. One is to build cheaply elsewhere, which goes well with some of the goals. and the other one is to trade, which gives you extra resources that you might actually need. So this is no longer a single-purpose tracker, which is great. One of the things that I dislike in Terra Mystica as opposed to Gaia Project is that a lot of things are single-purpose. The cults are cults and occasionally give you... The cults are VP and will occasionally give you other bonuses or a bit of power. It's not very interesting. The terraforming track is just that, has no other purpose, but giving the shipping a bit more variability really spiced it up. I felt like I could do a lot of things and they would have a bit more meaning than in the base game. So if you tried Terra Mystica and felt it's a bit dry, or if you played it to death and you're thinking how to spice up the game, then this is a good addition. It's also well thought out. We get very different bonuses, each one of the races, and it connects with your other powers as a race.
Yeah.
So that's very good. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Overall, I find Terra Mystica to be a bit drier than Gaia Project, but with this expansion, I don't mind giving it a couple more goes and a couple more tries to see if it feels a bit more coherent to me. So yeah, if you like them heavy and dry, it's a great game for you. And if you felt like it needed a bit of a boost, then I can definitely recommend
Merchants of the Seas.
Wow, that is such a generic name. It could have been Catan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Euro of the Euros.
Exactly. But I haven't played with any of the factions of the
Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice, We're going full on generic. Okay, so I didn't try any of the Fire and Ice factions, so I can't comment on that, but I'm sure they're also good. Like, a lot of love and thought is put into both expansions, and it's very evident.
Yeah.
My turn. All right. It's going to be long, so brace yourself.
Oh yeah, Leo has played a lot of Terra Mystica.
Yeah, I've played a lot of it. I guess.
Does the app still contain just the base game?
I haven't opened it since my last transatlantic flight.
Yes.
Because every game on the app you can do like 40 minutes, and then when you have a 12-hour flight, you can really like pass 6 hours playing Terra Mystica, which is good. Yeah. So I don't know if they upgraded it or not. I don't remember.
Okay.
But I did play, I guess, 5 times live, I think. Maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
With different people. So let's start with the components. I don't mind that these are generic. I don't mind that the cardboard is like generic, somewhere between fantasy and random Euro art of mid-90s.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't mind because it fits. It works. It works with the game. It doesn't distract you from the other things that are important here, which are... you need to specialize and you need to concentrate on what you really need to do. And if you try to diversify too much, you're dead in the water. So I don't mind that things look not as best as they could, or as good as they could.
Yeah.
Where it comes to the base gameplay of just Terra Mystica itself, I think it's a fantastic game. To me, it's better than Gaia Project because it does one thing much better: the focus. You really focus on the cult track. It's not a race. It's a timing mechanism. You need to make sure to go up when you need it and try to like squeeze into the first place at the last moment, like Kali did once during the game. It's not a matter of racing to the top, because otherwise you're just wasting other actions or priests at a certain point. You really need to, like I said, focus on doing those 2 or 3 things that your faction really wants you to do, like what I did with the halflings, where you upgrade your shovel as fast as you can and you start plopping dwellings all over the place. Transform and plop and transform and plop, and you get tons of workers, and then you can start doing things with them. It's one of those games where you really like unlock your enjoyment. I think like 7 or 8 games in, where you understand what the game wants you to do, and it's not just what you to do with each faction. It's because in Terra Mystica you haven't seen the setup, but what you do is you set up everything besides the factions, and then you look at the board, and then you can either assign them randomly, like we did, or almost randomly, which is okay, but it really shines when you look at the board and you say, I get first pick, and I want to do this and this and this with the bonuses. I'm going to take the dwarves, because they're going to shine in this game. And this is where it really gets me, because I like optimization. You know that I like it. I like optimizing on top of optimizing things. So this is obviously for me. But the learning curve is really high. It will take you at least 5 games to realize really what it wants you to do, and then 5 more games to diversify your strategies enough, because you have to react to other people, to the other factions, to the bonuses, to almost everything here. So the base game is a definite buy if you like them heavy, and I'm going to assume that everyone who's watching this already played this or tried it once or twice, or they're interested in heavier games. The expansion, so Fire and Ice, the faction seems nice. I've seen the mechanics of the Acolytes, I've read the other mechanics, the fact that they don't have their own terrain type and they need to really work on how to get those terrain types. The other factions are, you have 2 white expansions that are ice based and also need to do things to convert other terrain types, and there's I think 2 expansions that 2 factions that don't have a color. They pick another color and play with it somehow. I really haven't figured it out yet. So I think it works. I'm safe bet that it didn't break anything in where it comes to balance. And if you're active in the BGG community, or you read some strategy blogs, or even played with the app, you'd notice that some of the things are different from the base game to how it's recommended you play, and those changes are part of the expansion. It tells you how to bid for factions, so not everyone starts with the same amount of VP, and it replaces the basic endgame scoring with some other options, which are nice. Right? Yeah, Fire and Ice. There's another one for this for the merchants. So if you played enough Terra Mystica and you want to diversify it some more, and you have a large enough group to actually enjoy it, so people. Because if you only play with the same 3 or 4 people, you're not getting the full experience until you play 15 or 20 games, or you try different setups with different factions affecting each other differently. But if you have a large enough group playing this actively, definitely get Fire and Ice. About the Merchants of the Seas, I'm torn. I'd like more options for things. I like the concept that it allows me to do more with what I have. Unlike Kali, I think shipping is super necessary for the base game. Once you go over a certain number of games and you realize that you really need to be able to spread out and you need those shipping. But it's okay that they build over a core mechanic. That's good. To me, I still haven't, it's the first time I play with it. I just bought it yesterday. Yeah. I just bought those 2 expansions yesterday.
Just for you guys.
Yes.
And girls.
And I'm still not certain that it doesn't break the balance of the game. I guess I know that they beta tested it through the roof. It has to be, but it took a lot of time for Terra Mystica to get to a point where they made those little tweaks and replaced certain things, and they replaced the board with a more balanced one, and they tweaked the way you get starting VP based on the faction, which is based on, I guess, tens of thousands of online games where they use the data to balance things. So I really hope this doesn't break anything.
Assuming it doesn't.
Assuming it doesn't, then if you want a more full experience of doing more than what you do on the base game, then get it. But again, you can get so much out of the base game, even the base game with the Fire and Ice expansion, that then unless you've played it a lot of times, I don't see why.
Yeah. So my thought as you were talking is that this is exactly the difference between whatever their names are, the designers of this and Gaia.
All right.
And Vital. I don't remember. Marcus and...
I don't remember as well.
This
is your territory, not mine.
Yeah, you have it there. In any case,
I have it on the boxes, and there are
Helga and
Helge. I don't want to insult anyone by mispronouncing names. So
we cannot pronounce anything correctly. We apologize in advance.
In any case, that's So what I'm trying to say with the last of my brain power is that this pushes it towards Vita Lacerda, and that is why I like it. Because as a person who doesn't really like optimization, but as a person who likes...
You like optimization, you just don't like things that get optimized to the death.
I don't know how to call it.
It feels like beating a dead horse towards the 6th round.
Yeah, and here, again, I'm less looking at it as a, optimization game. This adds a sense of...
Doing more with less.
Doing more with less? I don't know what you meant. Wait.
Doing more with the same amount of components.
Yes.
You like multi-use mechanics.
I do, and it also sort of gives me an option. So you said earlier that you get there's a possibility of looking at Terra Mystica as a very sort of deterministic kind of algorithm where, okay, this is the board, hence this is the faction that I need to get, hence and this is the...
Because there's zero randomization.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why we don't play Catan anymore.
Well, wait. So that part I personally don't like. It's just not something that I derive joy out of. I like things that sort of evolve, and there's a sense of I don't know, randomness, but there's a sense of things that are happening and that are exciting, and there's
you like that the engine gets you somewhere.
Yes, and I feel like this expansion of the merchants gives me the option of perhaps letting it go for one game, or expanding, investing a lot of it. Maybe one game I want to invest in trading. Maybe one game I just want to use it to build very quickly. I don't know. It's just sort of another toy to play with, not necessarily to make sure that I build the right algorithm to win all the time. But so that's what I'm trying to say. Is that there's more with the same amount of complexity. Yes.
I get what you're saying.
Again, it's a personal taste.
No, of course. As someone who, I'm not going to say hate Lacerda games, because then I'm going to get kicked out of this house forever.
You don't.
There's guys and their weird Lacerda fetish.
You don't like all of them. You like some of them.
I like one of them.
Well, you've tried what? 3?
I've tried all of them besides...
You haven't played CO2 and you haven't
I haven't played CO2.
I think whatever. Let's continue.
Yeah, so I get it.
Yep.
What I've been trying to say is that, again, personal taste doesn't really seem like it needs more with less.
Yes.
Because I think it's pretty perfect as it is. I think it's the one of maybe only 2 or 3 games that got a 9 ranking on BGG for me. Like Scythe is the only 10. This and maybe one or more.
Are we talking about the place where Gloomhaven is consistently number 1?
No, I'm talking about my own ranking.
Personal.
Where Gloomhaven is at 0. But
you should have clarified
that. It's fine. I'm glad that this expansion makes it maybe more approachable for a certain amount of heavy players, certain type of heavy players.
Approachable, but it expands the audience.
It's much more approachable for me. I don't like the fact that I can look at the board and just spend 5 minutes optimizing and then choosing the race. That's not fun for me. And here, stuff were added to make it more variable for me. So,
Yeah. That's what he's trying to say, yes.
I think we all agree that this is a fun expansion.
Yes. Surprisingly so, I have to say.
Yep, I definitely agree. I was very pleasantly surprised.
I don't think it's an easy endeavor.
To add something to this type of game, definitely not.
No. Must have been very difficult for them to keep the same design, even though it looks like it's from 5 years ago.
And with that, I think we will thank everybody and remind you that we have the videos for the first round and overview and the rest of the playthrough down in the description below. And we hope you enjoyed this
playthrough and review. I don't know why you're looking at me. I need coffee.
Do like me, watch it at 1.5 speed.
Oh, for sure.
Or put it and then just fall asleep, because I think we are very ASMR towards the end.
Yes,
where we're all mumbling numbers to each other.
And it's for it's like praying.
Bye everyone. Thank you. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.